Welcome everyone to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I was not going to be doing any more videos this year, but then how could I not show this one? This is the Kodiak 100, a high-wing single-engine turboprop aircraft by SimWorks Studios. And this excites me because we haven't really had many general aviation birds of this fidelity in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So and we've had plenty of military birds, which is all fine, but you know, this is where my heart really sits. With aircraft like this, the turboprop sort of general aviation segment is very exciting and great when you're in VR and you're exploring. And we're going to be flying this in Europe, by the way, in the Varjo Aero with a new tour series retracing my motorcycle route I did a few years ago. So I will post a few of those on the channel if you're interested. But yeah, this bird, I mean, it's got some very special features actually that I haven't really seen with other aircraft, particularly with the fact that you can configure this to have different cargo. In fact, at the moment, this is mixed cargo, which is passengers, and also got plenty of boxes in the back there, which can all be changed. But you can also change this for skydiving duties, as well as sort of, I guess, like a full passenger kind of executive style aircraft. You can do all sorts with this, really. And of course, it's equipped with the G1000 layout. But let's just get really close and personal with these textures, because this is where I find it really does sit above and beyond anything we've seen to date. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to be trying to be very careful with my drone here. Look at that. That looks totally real to me, like I can reach out and touch that door and open it up. And you know what? In the Varjo Aero, which we're going to be using in this video, it really does feel like that. Let's have a look here. You can see the prop and the beautiful, just the rivets and the panels and the way everything's put together just looks absolutely gorgeous. You can read everything. Everything's legible on this thing. In fact, actually, you can even see the serial number. You see that there, look? Look at this, this is amazing. Let's just get really close here. Look at that. Hang on, I'll get closer. Closer still. Oh, too close, hang on. Back up a bit, there we go. That just blew my mind. The fact that you can even read the serial number. And that's why we're in the Varjo Aero, because textures this sharp and beautiful deserves a headset that can really show them off. And you can see here, as we just keep panning around a few of the things that I want to show you. Look at that PBR shine there. We've got these, the strobe lights are all 3D modelled, and you can see there a bit of dirt there in the transparent texture there, which just looks so damn real. And coming along here as well, we've got the beacon light, which is all modelled and animated, as you can imagine. It's just a work of art, guys. It really is. I don't think we've seen many aircraft of this particular quality, and we've had many military birds in this sim, as I say, but to have a general aviation aircraft of this quality is fantastic. And that extends to the cabin, which we're going to go any moment. I'm just going to quickly show you as well that we are at Burning Blue Design, White Waltham, and we're going to fly from here to Shoreham in preparation for our channel crossing for our European tour. Right, so welcome to the cabin of the Kodiak 100. And it's a very, very nice place to be, let me tell you. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to give you a little tour around. Just some of the areas that you might not normally want to look at. Like, for instance, underneath here. Look at this. Wow. Just amazing attention to detail. As I say, everything that would be, I guess, on the real aircraft, all the textures and all the labels are there in this bird. And I even like, for instance, if I just zoom into this yoke, look at the cord. Look at the way that moves. That is some very, very special modelling right there. I do love that. We've also got working circuit breakers, by the way, down here. They all pop out, as you'd expect. We've even got a cup holder, which it makes me very happy, because I like to have coffee and fly a lot. Of course, all the other stuff works that you'd expect. Storm window. And the door, which latches correctly. And the sounds are very, very nice as well. Now, this is where things get even more interesting, because I'm now going to go into the back. So you can see at the moment there's nobody in here, but we're going to change that with the fuel and payload manager. Now, SimWorks Studios, if you are listening, I would love to see this in a sort of EFB tablet with a few other options as well. That would be quite cool because, you know, it's fine using the payload manager, but it's a little bit clunky. And I think an add-on of this quality, it'd be great to see that, you know, a proper little iPad style thing. Anyway, with that being said, we're just going to add now a few passengers. So we'll just put in weights there. Hello there. And I've got to say, they look very, very realistic. In fact, tell you what we'll do is we'll put one on the left-hand side as well to make sure that we are at least fairly balanced. We're not going to bother with Copilot today. But look at this, look. How realistic are those models? Pretty crazy. And now what we're going to do is, because we've got a mixed sort of cabin, we're now going to add some cargo in the back here, okay? Just a little bit. Look at that. Oh, it's just so good. In fact, yeah, we're going to be fairly full. Let's say we've got a lot of things to deliver here ready for our European tour. And what I love is you can also see that from the outside view as well. Look at that. Nice touch there. Love it. Right, anyway, folks, what I'm going to do now is we're going to jump back into the cabin and we're going to start this bird up. At the moment, of course, we're in 2D mode. I'm going to continue being in 2D mode for the time being because I think that way you get to see the textures in all their glory and you can see how I start this bird up. And then after that, we will go into VR in the Varjo Aero for the remaining part of this flight. So, because it does feel really weird being in 2D mode. And you can imagine what this looks like in the Aero. You know, this cockpit is just so beautifully modelled. Right, we'll open the storm window and we'll get the battery on. And all these sounds, guys, very, very special indeed. We'll just remove the yoke for the moment so we can get to these controls here. We'll put the beacon on. And you can see here the G1000, I think this is the NXI version, which works really, really good. We'll put the fuel shut-off valve on and then get our fuel on up here. This is actually where VR controls will be quite cool because, you know, you're moving around in the cabin. And what we'll do now is we'll put the we'll put the avionics on. And actually, before I start the engine, I'm going to show you the air conditioning unit down here, which, by the way, is a really super small bit of text in the Varjo Aero. You can read that, no problem at all. But here is the sort of air conditioning, sort of climate control system. I love this. And you can even hear it when it switches on. So here we go. Can you hear that? And this is actually modelled depending on the temperature. Not only that, come up here and you can adjust the vents. I love that so much. That is just brilliant. Also, we have over here the sun visor, although it looks like there's just fixed positions. As you can see there. It does work, by the way. It does shade you from the sun, but I would like to see like an infinite amount of adjustment there, so I can just move it slightly. But not unless that's like the real thing. It might be like that in the real aircraft, I'm not quite sure. Just listen to those sounds. Fantastic. Love it so much. We're going to take that off for now. It's making me feel cold, actually. Because it is very cold in the UK today. It's horrible outside. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to put the ignition on. Fuel pump's going to go on. And put the prop fully forward. And we're going to start this bird up, okay? Listen to these sounds. As she starts up, got the storm window open. So we're watching the NG rise, and it's going to max out about 20%. And then we're going to introduce low idle, like so. At this point, we're looking at the NG and the ITT for hung starts and hot starts. And once the NG goes up into the green, we can go into high idle, but I'm going to just keep it where it is for now. And we're going to go outside. And as you can hear, the sounds are impeccably done. They sound really, really beautiful. The spatial awareness and the sort of positioning of the audio is great. You can even, if you go at the back of the aircraft, so that you can actually hear like the wind from the prop. You see, folks, I don't miss details like that, because to me, that's what makes an aircraft. You can see there the beacon now flashing on the top there. Right, so now that we've done that, we can actually, yeah, generator and alternator can come on. I'm not doing this in the correct order, by the way. And I would recommend reading the manual. It's a 35-page manual that will get you up to speed with this bird. But if you are familiar with turboprops, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. Right, so the starter can come off now. The fuel pump can go to standby. And we can actually put our inertial separator on, which makes sure that any foreign objects don't get into that intake. And later on, you'll notice that when we, I think it's 2,500 feet or so, you can take it off, so long as there's no moisture in the air. That the torque will rise a little bit, like the TBM as well. So that's also modelled. Of course, it's SimWorks Studios, and this is a beautiful, beautiful add-on. And I honestly, even before we've gone into VR and done the flight and the conclusion, all that, just buy it, folks. It is exquisite. And developers like this, we definitely need them to keep doing their thing, because this makes me very, very happy. And it will make you very happy as well when you take a flight in it for the first time. And I had to say, White Wolfram by Burning Blue Design, just absolutely gorgeous. And over there somewhere is my friend Martin, who's a great supporter of the channel with his doggies. And hopefully my friend will go for a flight soon, because I haven't done a community flight for a while. But anyway, I think it's now time to head into VR in the Varjo Aero and get on our way. I'll see you in a few moments. So welcome back, folks. We are now in VR in the Varjo Aero, and don't worry, I'm not just going to go on about how amazing it is. I think you probably know that already, and it's hard not to keep expressing that because it just feels so good, but you get the idea, folks. And what we're going to do now is just going to line up here on this little grass strip. And I've got to say, when you take off for the first time in the Kodiak, it feels very different from if you're used to, say, the Caravan, the default aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is similar to this. The flight model in this feels very fluid, and it can kind of catch you off guard a little bit because it feels like you're moving through a column of air rather than on rails, which some aircraft do feel like that in this sim, admittedly, especially the default birds. Also, a bit of right rudder is in order. And yeah, I guess the way I can describe it is it's an event taking off in this thing. You have to concentrate, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Right, I'm just going to get a bit more speed here because we're all in the grass. Can you hear that sound as well? You know, the sounds have been modelled depending on where you're flying, what sort of, whoa, what runway you're flying out of. Yeah, I overcorrected there. It's interesting, the pitch does feel very sensitive, but I think a lot of that is just getting used to this bird. But we're airborne, just. Look how she's moving around in the air. Just a very fluid flight model. So we're saying goodbye to White Wolfram, and we're going to head to the south coast to Shoreham. And I must admit, as I say, the aircraft is moving around in the air quite a lot here. It just feels very natural. Right, we're going to put the fuel pump off now, and we'll take the landing light off as well. We'll keep the inertial separator on. The visibility, by the way, in VR with this bird is brilliant. You can really see out, and the wings are, you know, quite far back, which makes just touring in this thing perfect. And that's why I'm going to use this for my European tour series. Another thing actually that's just come to mind is that the performance of this bird is really, really good. I don't know how they've done it to be able to, you know, have the best textures of any aircraft I've seen to date, yet the performance feels no different from the default birds. Now, admittedly, I am running a pretty beefy computer, But even with the Varjo Aero, I'm getting very nice frame rate here. I'm probably getting around 35-40 frames per second whilst recording with pretty much ultra settings. Not bad at all. Anyway, we're now going to go on our course, and we're not going to climb too high actually today, and we'll have a look outside. See all our passengers there and our cargo. And it, you know, you can really see the faces and the expressions of your passengers as well. Right, I think that will do. We'll just put the autopilot on now for a bit. And we've got FLC mode, by the way, as well, which is very cool. Yaw damper coming on, and we'll take the landing light off. In fact, we had it on pulse mode there. Interesting, we've got this level feature as well, which probably is a feature of the G1000 or even G3000 avionics suite of the Kodiak. I think I've seen Steve-O show that off before, actually, if I remember one of his videos. And yeah, we'll settle into this flight. Now, of course, we need to make sure that we keep an eye on our torque. But I imagine, as I say, because this is such a modern bird, that will kind of almost have a sort of FADEC style system for us. So I don't think there'll be any engine failures modelled with this bird. And we can adjust our temperature here. Put the aircon back on again. I literally feel like it could be like blowing in my face right now. It's just that sound is so realistic, and you can move that around as well, which is really cool. It's like being in my car. It's so cool. Perhaps if you put nav mode on, Steve. There we go. And yeah, let's have a little look in the back now. Alright mate, enjoying the flight, hopefully. That's Drew's redhead. She's come for a ride in this aircraft. If you don't know who Drew is, he actually did a really good preview of this bird not long ago. And I'll link his channel in the description below. Please give him a couple of thousand likes. His videos are very entertaining, to say the least. Oh, look at that. This is just a very, very nice experience being in the back of this cabin. And yeah, let's have a look at these boxes. See how well they're doing here. SWS Special Wing Service. Brilliant, love it. As I say, you can read all of everything in here. The materials, as I could reach out and touch, like even the screws there, I can see them really clearly. And the different textures, different materials, like that carpet there. The fire extinguisher, I can read that, of course. Everything just feels perfect. There's not a lot to complain about with this bird, to be honest. I think the only thing I'd like to see is an EFB tablet. That'd be really cool. So very near Shoreham we've got Brighton, so we're going to go over there actually, because we've got a photogrammetry area around Brighton which is really, really detailed. So we might have a bit of a buzz around there and then head back into Shoreham, which will be quite cool, I think. And then we'll fill up and hopefully we'll be ready for our first leg across the channel. Now, just to say, there's also oxygen simulation, and it depletes depending on the amount of passengers you have. Now, that again is the attention to detail that I love. Like, who would ever think of that? Say this G1000 suite is very nice, does the job. Say it is a default, it's not a custom coded G1000 that I'm aware of anyway, but you know what, it doesn't really need to be. I think the systems on this are plenty, especially when you consider the price point as well. I've got to admit, there's a lot of other aircraft out there that are more than this that don't provide this level of quality, so bear that in mind, please. And you know what, I have to say that there is a bit of quantity over quality going on in this sim at the moment, because obviously this is a bit of a cash cow for developers, and I have seen some dodgy aircraft. I won't show them on the channel, to be honest. I'll only show the stuff that I really like, generally speaking. And yeah, this is up there with the likes of Just Flight. The Turbo Arrow was actually one of my most favourite general aviation aircraft of this year. This has now joined that exclusive club, without a doubt. Just to also let you know that they are VR zoom click spots as well, which is very cool, so they're thought of VR users. I do like that feature actually. Obviously you don't need it in the Aero, but you know, for other headsets, perhaps like the Quest or the Rift S, perhaps, I don't know, if you do struggle to read anything, you can zoom in. And you know what, even I do that sometimes on the Aero, if I just feel like looking at something really close like that. That is amazing. In fact, I'm going to adjust that. We're a little bit hot at the moment, so I'm just going to back that off a bit. Sorry, that's the fan. There we go. You know, in my car, I like it set to around between 18 and 19 degrees. We'll put that to auto mode. Actually, no, we won't, because the fan will kick in. This is just so cool. Also, the passengers, we can do that for them as well. They need looking after, of course. So we'll put that to about, what do you reckon, 21 degrees? That's quite a nice temperature, I think. So there we are, the Torque and ITT are all in the green there. Watching the NG. Oh, one thing I've forgotten to do actually is take off the inertial separator. You can do that by clicking that, and notice the torque will now rise. That is a very nice feature, and it's those, as I say, I know I sound like a broken record, it's those little things that make all the difference with an add-on. You know, I can almost feel like a kid again, seeing the sea there. You know, when you're in the back of the car and you're going on holiday and the first glimpse of the sea, you get so excited. Mind you, these days, family holidays, people go to bloody America and Barbados and the Mediterranean. When I was a kid, I went to Skegness for a week and I loved it. Spent most of the time on the beach. How things have changed. But the visibility, and you know, by the way, that wing in VR, it's just absolutely fantastic, because like that pod there, you can see there the I think it's the radar pod for the weather radar. It looks so crystal clear. The paint job on it looks so real, particularly in this sim. Very convincing indeed. And by the way, I'm only using one base station today with my Aero, and I can look around. I'll even look round, look guys, and you can see there my base station is working really well, just using one. Very cool. Right, anyway, I think we're now going to take this off autopilot, because I want to hand fly this baby, and we're going to just hug the coast a little bit, get in position again, and fly over Brighton before coming into land at Shoreham. And this is Allbeck Shoreham, by the way. It's a port, and I did buy it in the was it Black Friday sale, and I haven't even seen it yet, so that'll be interesting as well. Oh, look at this. Now, in case you're wondering, I'm not using live weather today because it's foggy and it's -3 degrees in the UK at the moment, the time it's recording. So, yeah, I didn't really fancy that today. But there is a full sort of panel down here of windshield de-ice and what's it, surface prop ice as well, airframe as well. So it is, I think this would be a very good steed to do IFR flights as well. Now, just to say, this aircraft's flight model is such that, you know, take your time with it, learn how to fly it properly, because she does feel very fluid and very different from many other birds that I've flown, particularly when, you know, in the flare and just critical moments of flight. So, you know, just bang out those patterns and enjoy it and get used to it. So here we are flying over Shoreham now. Very nice. Performance, I tell you what, with the Varjo Aero is so good. It's amazing to think that even though this headset is way sharper than the Reverb, you also get better performance as well. And for everybody who's wondering as well, because I get asked this all the time, the field of view in the Aero, the horizontal field of view is much wider. I mean, it's not massively wider, but it's definitely wider. It's sort of like a 5 Pro 2 really, but the vertical field of view is a little bit lower, not by a massive amount though. It just never bothers me at all when you've got this beautiful clarity. So here we are, we're in the photogrammetry area now. And what we'll do is we'll just fly over the pier, nice and low, and if my internet connection allows, hopefully it will look pretty decent. Because believe it or not, even though I am one of these YouTubey people, my internet is pretty awful at best of times. This is such a fun aircraft to fly. It really does. It just feels like quality, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. It feels very different from other add-ons. There's not many out there that can reach this level. So a massive, huge congratulations to SimWorks Studios. I know they've been working very hard on this, and it shows. Wow, look at that. I've stayed in a hotel around here somewhere, in fact a couple of them. We've also gigged in Brighton a few times. That is the pier that actually caught fire. It's good to see that model actually, very cool. I haven't been on that thing there. And here is the pier. A couple of boats hanging around here. How's this, folks, for flying in 2021 in your own home? I have to say the photogrammetry around here is absolutely amazing.
500.
You can pick out every car, even sort of the markings on the road. That's a 30-mile-an-hour limit there. It's just epic. And there we are. I wouldn't recommend getting fish and chips from the pier. They don't taste very nice and they're too expensive, by the way, if you ever go to Brighton. And just hand flying her, she just feels very, very nice. Right, anyway, we're now going to attempt a landing at Shoreham. Let's see what the wind's doing here. Yeah, only about 3 or 4 knots, so we're fine. And yeah, call this video done. And my basically conclusion, it was pretty obvious. I think the SimWorks Studio Kodiak 100 is an absolute instant buy. I think they've done a fantastic job here, and I'm looking forward to showing it on the channel in the coming months, particularly as I start my European tour. I have been waiting for a bird like this for a while now, to be honest. I don't know about you guys. Because, you know, I fly the TBM quite a lot, which is a default bird, and it's actually pretty decent, but I've been craving for a really high fidelity model turboprop. And the Kodiak, I mean, they couldn't have picked a better aircraft, really. I'm looking forward to, you know, attempting to land this at Courchevel as well. I don't know about you guys, but when I do a tour, if I crash, that's it. I abandon the tour. You know, I've got to do it right, at least not crash, which gives you a bit more of a reward factor, particularly if you go around the world, which I recently did. And I might even do that actually with an aircraft one day as well. Just use one aircraft and go around the world, because it's those kind of adventures is why I love flying, and particularly in VR as well. So there is Shoreham. We're just going to make a bit of a right downwind here and get our aircraft configured. We'll put the fuel pump on, landing light can come on. Temperatures and pressures are all looking good. Everyone's got their seatbelt on, and I definitely would recommend leaving it on for this particular landing, because even though I have been flying this now a fair bit, I need to get better and hone my skills with this bird. And that's just one thing I do love about more sort of high quality aircraft, is that, you know, it takes a while to get good at flying them, like it should be. If you can hear some squeaks, by the way, that is my yoke. It's about dead, guys. I need a new yoke desperately. And it's squeaking like I've had this Eclipse yoke for about 10 years now, so it doesn't owe me anything. Right, this is a bit of an interesting approach here. Slowing down, looking at about 80 knots, I think, he says. And I'm a bit too fast, but I can just full stage of flaps now, and you can hear the wind. That is very nice. See how it is? I think it's the torque of the prop making the aircraft kind of yaw a little bit, which is very real. Here we go. A little long here. That will do. And we could use our reversers just to show them off. Whoops. Oh, that sounds glorious, doesn't it? Really sounds very nice. So welcome to Shoreham, and as I say, I hope you enjoyed this first flight with the SimWorks Studios Kodiak 100. We've been flying in the Varjo Aero, and yeah, and this is Orbex Shoreham, by the way, just to let you know, and it's been really enjoyable, and I cannot wait to begin my European tour. Please do let me know if you'd like to come along with me. And yeah, I mean, this has been a very easy aircraft to recommend, and look, there's another Kodiak there. I never expected that. I think it's actually just been released, so maybe I'm going to see an influx of Kodiaks now. She is a very good looking bird. I do like the look of the Kodiak. I mean, the Caravan's always been one of them aircraft I do love flying, but to be honest, I'm not sure it's going to get much use now, because it's going to feel a bit rubbish now after this. Got my landing lights on pulse. I must remember to not do that. Looks like the clock is working there, and this is the, as I say, the Orbex version, looking very nice, pretty decent. And we'll yeah, in fact we'll just open this storm window and shut down. Just listen to those sounds again. Pure quality. So folks, I hope you enjoyed that flight in the SimWorks Kodiak 100 in the Varjo Aero. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Say 80% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you feel like supporting me and this content, then I would truly appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.